So, if you've been following me for the last decade, then you know I've pretty openly and publicly rejected the bagger platform when it came down to my riding style, which at the end of the day was always to go fast and go far. For this purpose, my weapon of choice had always been either a Dyna, FXR, or Lowrider ST, what in modern times has come to be known as the quote-unquote sport touring platform. Because why would I want to add 100 plus pounds, sacrifice performance, and pay more at the end of the day if I didn't have to? All of my time and miles on the older style baggers throughout the years would only validate this riding philosophy, where every time I'd throw a leg over, they would just feel unnecessarily heavy and clunky to me. But then, in the year of 2024, something happened that no one would see coming. Meeting the growing riding culture focused around performance, Harley-Davidson would not just make a couple nice changes to their bagger offerings, but would do a complete overhaul. Where the older style baggers would be sluggish and heavy, these newer style baggers would be refined in every way imaginable, producing an end result that was more nimble, faster, and at the end of the day, meeting me where I stood as a rider from the sport touring world. For me, these new bikes check off the two biggest factors that I look for in any motorcycle that I'm going to ride. Number one, the inherent ability to crush heavy mile days on the bike trips. Number two, being able to handle my default riding environment, which is of course the unforgiving miles of New York City. So back to the first point, I got to fully put this new platform to the test this summer, where I rode a nearly stock 2024 Street Glide to California and back. Not only did this bike crush 800 plus mile days effortlessly, but it did it damn near stock. Beyond this, when throwing this bike into the most challenging situations, whether it was lane splitting in heavy traffic, or pushing on through 115 degree heat, this bike simply handled all these situations flawlessly, leaving me blown away at the end of this trip. Oh yeah, if you're wondering about upcoming videos on this coast-to-coast trip, don't worry, it's coming soon. So back to the second point, at the end of the day, my bikes need to be able to handle one of the hardest riding environments you're going to find in the United States, none other than my hometown here in New York City. Both myself and Von Gasvold were simply blown away with how naturally these modern baggers could handle our hometown miles, which again, checks off a major box for both of us. And I guess a bonus factor here is that compared to putting in 500 plus mile days on the back of my rowdy Dyna, these bikes really do provide a truly luxurious and comfortable ride for your passenger, which at the end of the day is always a good thing. So yeah, I've publicly voiced in the past that I think there are better offerings over the bagger platform when it came to Harley-Davidsons. But this somewhat controversial opinion was stated before the year of 2024, before Harley-Davidson had clearly done its homework on what we want performance-wise. In terms of strictly laying down heavy mile days, there is nothing out there being offered that's going to beat these new baggers. With the massive refinements in performance, it's no longer easy to say that the Lowrider ST is the better bike, especially since they come so close in cost. That question remains more complicated than ever, and there really is no simpler clean answer to that one, but I'm looking forward to continuing my investigation. Which brings us to yet another complicated question. After 10 years of becoming your favorite Dyna Bros on YouTube, are we now evolving into our final forms as Performance Bagger Bros? Well, the short answer to that is, especially with our latest coast-to-coast trip as well as the New York City miles we've laid down on these bikes, let's just say that we see massive potential in these bikes that we did not see prior, and let's just leave it at that. So anyway, I still have a massive amount of content to do on these new lineup of baggers, so stay tuned for that if you're looking for more. As always, whether you're riding a performance bagger or a performance Dyna, outride your demons and keep that positive mental attitude. We do have some of the finest merch available if you're looking to pay the iron price with me this season. And on that, FXDLS Brooklyn is out.
Goodbye.